man. Oh man. Yo. Oh man. Chapter 696. Yo, all my teeth are showing right now. Are you serious? Oh man. Luffy said, "Hey, as long as Shanks in the first, I'm gonna crush all four emperors." Man, let me say something, right? Let me say something. You guys know I don't really like Luffy. You know I really don't like Luffy. Oh man, fuck this shit, man. I think I'm a Luffy fan, man. Hold on, let me check. Okay, I had to check to make sure I didn't have a boner for Luffy. God, dog. Oh my God, man. I am geeking out right now, man. What the? Oh my God. Oh my God, man. I'm smiling so hard, man. Like my cheeks and everything hurting. Dude. Oh my God, dude. So is Oda really going to go here? Because, you know, he said he didn't want Shanks to be the first and that they're going after Kaido first. So here's my thing, right? At some point, Luffy's got to fight Shanks. Man, that'd be so poetic, man. That'd be so poetic. They're fighting over the One Piece. And, you know, because Shanks was saying like, yo, you know, you can't go on my crew. And then they end up fighting. And Luffy, you know, he wants to be king of the pirates. He wants the One Piece. This is, oh my God. If that's the end game, I'm all cool for that. Like, I hate cliche endings, but that'd be going everything back full circle, man. I like that. I like that. And when you just look at the way that Oda telegraphed all this in the chapter, it lets you know Oda was digging stuff back from the past. Because, like, when Tashigi showed up and said, children, you know, I'll take care of you. I'm like, wait a second. They're asking for Nami. I said, okay. That's the whole thing with Bell. And sure enough, that's exactly what Nami's going for. Nami just, you know, smiling and everything, sitting there looking like the angelic beauty that she is. And she's just like, yeah, I got a thing for strong female sailors. And I was starting to say, like, baby, I'll put on a wig and get some high heel shoes and get a bra and everything and say, baby, I'm a strong female sailor. What you trying to do? But, you know, see, I got where Oda was going from on that, man. And even Usopp, you know, interjected. Usopp was just like, oh, yeah, your mom was your mom was a sailor too, right? And I really like that because, you know, it does show, you know, at the end of the day, like the Straw Hats, they are pirates. And so people would look at them like, oh my God, they kidnapped them. Like, that's just how the narrative's going to spin. And at the same time, like if Tashigi did it, you know, who knows? You know, maybe Tashigi, you know, by getting those kids back to the family, maybe she inspires one of those people to become a sailor or something. I mean, you just never really know. I mean, you know, so I like that. And that kind of goes back to the whole thing, you know, when it comes to history, you know, the people who win the war are ultimately the ones who decide how history remembers the events, why people went to war, why they went into battle, why things escalated in the way they did. They get to write the narrative. You know, the loser side is always left out. And, you know, just speaking of sides, I thought that was pretty interesting that, you know, they draw a literal line in the ground and they say, yep, you can't cross this line. You know, if you cross it, you know, it take you to jail. Then Luffy steps over it and just starts talking to Brownbeard. And they're like, Straw Hat, you crossed the line. And Luffy's like, so what? That's your line. That had nothing to do with me. See, it's moments like that where I love Luffy. It's moments like that where I love him because not only is he trolling, but Luffy's gotten to a point where he's strong enough where he knows he can troll these guys and they can't do anything about it. If they get out of line, he'll just knock them the hell out. And, you know, before he would have did it anyway, but now it's like, you know, he's strong enough to actually back up his words. I mean, that is so telling. That is so telling that he's grown to this level. That is so fascinating to me. I'm very fascinated by that. Now, the other thing that I found very interesting, is the fact that, you know, like Law isn't necessarily a bad guy, you know, because like when, you know, Chopper is like, he's a murderer. You know, Luffy, how could you work with him? I can't believe it. And you got this whole gag with Kinemon where he's got the whole thing where, you know, Sanji thinks that he killed him and everything. And then it's just like, oh, he's actually alive. Like, this is the thing, right? Like when Chopper's like, you know, I can't believe this guy. You actually find out that, you know, Law isn't that bad of a guy. When he was like, yeah, it couldn't be helped. I had to chop them up into pieces. I'm like, dude, that is cutthroat. That is so cutthroat. He just cut up all these kids, and you find out why he did it. He was chopping them up in order to remove the poison. I didn't even see that coming. I thought Chopper was going to cure all of them. And it's like, oh, okay. You know, the surgeon of death actually came up big, man. And, you know, when Chopper is just talking to the kids and everything, it's just so refreshing to see how, you know, Chopper is reacting to that, man. It's just so refreshing because, you know, again, I mean, that's a character who, you know, he has their best interest at heart. But it's like, no, you know he's got their best interest at heart. Like, you know, Chopper looks just as relieved as these kids. And when they're like, I want to see the cyborg man. I want to see the woman with the red, with the orange hair. I want to see the skeleton man. It's just like, at the end of the day, when they go back to their respective homes, when people talk about the Straw Hats and they see the pictures, if there's negative stuff out there, they say, no, these are the people who actually saved me. It wasn't the Navy. And it's just like, at the end of the day, it goes back to what I've been saying for a while. Like, Oda's positioning Luffy to challenge what it is that people believe to be a pirate. At some point, Luffy's going to challenge that notion. And I mean, it's very interesting, man. It's very interesting that happened. Now, the other thing I thought was, you know, pretty funny. And I mean, it's to be expected. It's to be expected because this is One Piece. And, you know, Oda, at the end of like every major island after they get done, it's like the Straw Hats always have this big party and this big feast. You know, it's like everything. I mean, it could be over any small thing. It's like, yo, yep, we got the hell off the island. Might have lost like 7,000 men when we get off the island. Let's drink. Zoro will be like, yeah, let's drink. Drink. Get the panties. Let's drink. You know, Zoro just comes off of this like macho's man's man. Like, I like Zoro, man. But it's like Zoro could just find any excuse to drink, like Luffy could find any excuse to eat, and Sanji could find any excuse to cook. It's just like these guys are gonna have a good time. And even the Navy guys like, ceasefire, ceasefire. You know, we're coming over here to eat. And like the food's so good. Like when Momonosuke transforms back into a person because, you know, I guess, you know, he spoke with Chopper and learned how to go from human form to, you know, the zone transformation and everything. But what I found very interesting is like, you know, he's just walking around in the nude and everything. His dad was like, boy, if you don't put on a kimono, you know, a child of Wano, you know, looks best when he's got a kimono on. And he's like, look, son, you know, we can trust these pirates. We can trust them. I know you hadn't eaten since you've been here. You know, this food's delicious, and he's just sampling it all. And then you see father and son eating together, and it's so beautiful because it's like what I've been saying. You know, children mimic their parents to a certain extent, and it's just like to actually see that taking place. It's so heartwarming, man. It's so heartwarming. I love seeing that. That's probably my favorite panel out of this chapter is to see father and son reunited. Like they were star-crossed for a long time. And they finally intersected. They've finally been reunited. They're eating together. And it's like they're riding off into the sunset together. That is so beautiful. If we never see them again, I think that's a perfect exit for their characters. But I mean, overall, this is a really good chapter. But I mean, you already know where I'm coming at, man. Like, Luffy wants to take down all four of the Emperors. I thought it was just Big Mom. Like, not even Shanks is safe. This is going to be good. This is good. Like, I was, you know, excited for the new world. I'm really excited now, man. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an incredible day, guys.